It's serious.
And silly.
It's seriously.
Silly, but serious.
But silly.
With Scott and Sheila.
And John.
And John. And John. Woohoo! Wonderful. We are very excited to have Mr. Jean Lachapelle with us today here on Serious and Silly. So Jean, why don't you take a couple of seconds to tell the audience, the captive audience that we have, a little bit about yourself, how long you've been teaching here at Champlain, and we do have an open house coming up November 1st. So why don't you give some students and the audience members some idea and understanding of what the Law and Civilization program here at Champlain is.
All right, thanks for having me, guys. I've been teaching at Champlain for 23 years now. It doesn't feel like it. I'm teaching in humanities and philosophy for the Law and Civ program. One of the reasons I've always enjoyed teaching is because of the fact that I'm surrounded by young people. I think the age group of 17 and 20 just suits my personality. They keep me sharp, they keep you young, they keep you focused, and I really like to be surrounded by young people. No disrespect to people who work in hospitals. Obviously, we do need these folks, but I personally would not be able to work in a hospital. I would be depressed after 2 weeks, okay? And I know people, some of my friends, they tell me, how do you do it? You know, teaching in CJEP, you would give me $500,000. I would never do it, okay? No, I do it for sure, okay? So different personalities for different kinds of jobs, but I think I'm in the right place teaching in CJEP. I really like the young kids in general. Yes, I'm the coordinator of Law and Civ, which is a program that was launched maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It used to be called Liberal Arts. We've rebranded it in terms of Law and Civ, and I think there's a need, it responded to a need for students because there's a lot of judicial issues in society and people are attracted to this. So we attract a lot of students and a lot of strong students, okay? We have the Law and Civ without math, and we have also with a math profile. Depending on the student's interest, those who go with the math profile will have more doors open in university in terms of going, let's say, to HSC or accounting or business. And some people don't like the math option, so they just go into Law and Civ, and very often they have law in mind, but sometimes it's educations or communication, journalism. Some of them go into the social sciences. So it leaves a lot of doors open, and it's a great program. We have a good team of teachers, and it's a small program, so there's a family atmosphere in the program. Mm-hmm. Students do get to know one another, and it's great. I love it.
Oh, great. That's fantastic, Jean. I was in the liberal arts program, as you know, here at Champlain. We'll get talking about that after, but it was always a very interesting program. And yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that. So we're going to turn the tables a little bit more silly. I'm sure a lot of people do know Jean is an avid runner. He is part of our défi, this year we changed it up a bit. One of our students, Emily, has launched a Champlain running club, which Jean helps support with. So we understand that you love to run. We want to know, though, what is the weirdest thing that you have encountered during one of your runs?
I won't be too politically correct here, but it's usual for runners to go for a pee during marathon. Okay? And sometimes there are toilets out there, but sometimes there is not. Mm-hmm, so when it's just peeing, it's not the end of the world, I guess. But I've seen the other option too, a female on the Jacques Villeneuve path on the Saint Helens Island, or Jean Drapeau Island now, and she went for number 2 right in front of everyone, and I guess
oh no.
It was sort of funny, but as runners, we take it with a grain of salt, but it's not the end of the world. But it was funny to see a girl just getting undressed to go for a number 2 right there on the Jacques Villeneuve.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Scott, have you seen anything like that?
I think the moral of the story is, you know, when you got to go, you got to go. And she had to go. I mean,
exactly. Sometimes the toilet is not around and you don't feel like waiting. So it was urgent, presumably.
And those runner shorts don't leave much space to. Anyways, let's move on. John, we'd
Oh,
like to
man.
switch back to a question. A lot of our students right now are going through a tough time, and we want to know what teachers are going through, and also if you have any words of advice for students who are going through a tough time.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's tough for both because we have to stay at home and we have to restructure our classes. We have to be on Zoom. I'm going to talk about the students' well-being, not because it's not tough for teachers. It's really tough for teachers, and we are, all of us, a bit more exhausted than we are at this stage usually. There's more marking to do online, which I don't particularly like. It's nice to be doing other things than to sit in front of a screen. And the students are in the same predicament. You all know, guys, that there's been several studies before the pandemic, according to which young people spend already too much time in front of a screen. I'm not making this up, you know, it's a well-known fact. Now, the pandemic has just reinforced this and exacerbated it in a sense, okay? They tell me all the time, under normal circumstances, I already spent too much time in front of a screen, and now we're asking them to spend even more time in front of a screen. So what I tell them almost on a weekly basis is that they have to find a way to do something else, okay? Other than going on Netflix after a class on Zoom. I don't think it's the best thing to do. I know I'm promoting the same thing all the time, but you need to go out. You need to move a bit. You need to distract yourself with things that are not screen related.
Mhm.
It's just not healthy. The human body is not designed to be sitting in a chair 12 hours a day.
Mhm.
We need vitamin D, we need to move. And it's so important, I think, for young people in particular in that situation, forced to be on Zoom all day long. It's not ideal. It's a short-term situation, which is okay for the time being because we don't want to paralyze the whole education system. But I hope there's a way out of this sooner rather than later. And my main recommendation is to find a way to go out, move your body. You know, we're all vitamin D deficient, or most of us are, because we don't go out. And if you're vitamin D deficient, you're more likely to suffer from long-term consequences of the COVID, as has been shown by recent studies, okay? So it's tough, and in terms of mental health, it's really tough, but exercise will do a great deal for you if you do it, okay? It can be a walk, it can be running, it can be something else outside. You just need to go out and move.
That's great. Good advice, John.
All right, John. So now it is time for everyone's favorite part of the show. It's time for the secret question.
John, 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 John.
This is the part I'm worried about.
So, John, for this question, we're gonna make a little Zoom time machine, and we're gonna go back to the winter of '07.
Okay.
Simpler times. A young Sheila Caro strolled into your intro to research class. And how do we put this nicely, Sheila? Things didn't go as well as one might have hoped. So you're a law and civilization professor, and I think one of the things that's come up in the news is the recent presidential pardon. So we won't get into the politics of the U.S., but do you think, Jean, being very debonair, almost presidential, that you can give Miss Caro some sort of presidential pardon for not doing as well in your class as one might have hoped?
Oh my God.
Please.
Yes, I'm giving her the pardon for sure. I've given her the pardon a long, long time ago. I mean, on the spur of the moment, I was not too happy with her. But to be honest, I don't remember the details of the story. She remembers the details.
It's ingrained in my brain.
Maybe she wants to divulge them in public, but I won't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, it was very simple. Jean was always a great, great teacher, but it was winter time, 8 a.m. I strolled in late several times to his class, and he pulled me aside and he's like, look, if this happens again, very nice, assertive, but nice, fair. If this happens again, just don't really bother coming back. So the next week I'm like, okay, I'm going to be on time. It's not going to be a problem. I get in. I'm looking at everybody's in class already, but I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm like 5 minutes early from the class. I go to him like, see, sir, I'm not late. I like do one of these. I sit down. My friend's like, what time did you think the class started? I'm like, it starts at 8:30. She's like, no, it starts at 8. You're 25 minutes late. I'm like, oh my God. I was so mortified that I just never went back. I never went back to your class, Jean, but I always appreciate your teaching because you're a fantastic human being, but you're also a fantastic teacher, and everybody, I mean, all the students that I speak to speak so highly of you.
And look at you now, Sheila. You have your own webcast. I mean, it's a rags to riches story.
Thank you, Sheila, for the comments. And the nice thing was to see you back at the college as someone working at the college, and it's so fun to have you around. It's funny for me, you're not the only former student now that is at the college. I have a couple of former students, we've got teachers. And it's always a great experience for me. It makes me feel old a bit, but on the other hand, it's always great to have these smiling individuals, and they remember me, I remember them. And despite our hiccup, things are really smooth between you and me.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
So Jean, we've reached the stage of the show now where if people want to reach you or if people want to join the running club, how would they go about that?
They can just send me a mail. I think that's probably the most straightforward way of doing it, in which case I will redirect them to the Facebook page. The Facebook page is called RC Champlain Running Club, if I'm not mistaken. Sheila, correct me if I'm...
I believe so.
You should be able to find it pretty quickly, and you just have to sign up. It's a private club, but Emily is running the show, and she's going to say yes for sure. She suspects that other students will join in. So that can be done in 5 minutes. And you don't have to be an experienced runner. I do need to insist on this. We have experienced runners, like so we have new runners, and they run 1K and they're super proud of themselves. And we're even prouder of themselves, okay? Because we encourage them, we give them pieces of advice, and it's a lot of fun. So whether you're an experienced runner or a newbie, you're most welcome, and we all need it, okay? All of us.
Thank you so much. Like I had mentioned, you're fantastic, I gotta say. And just thank you so much for taking the time with us today. Sit down a couple of minutes with Scott and I. So for those of you guys that are interested in to continue watching our little web series, please follow us on the Champlain YouTube. I keep messing this up. The YouTube Saint-Lambert Champlain. Why do I keep messing that up? That page on YouTube. We post on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So again, just thank you so much.
You're most welcome. It was a lot of fun. And thank you for having me, guys. And I wish you good luck on your other episodes, which I've been watching. So it's very entertaining to see all these people from the college having a go at it, all the way from Don to myself. So I've been watching most of them so far.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Bye.
Hey, see you guys. Bye. Thank you.